How you doing? I'm David Carsons. I'm a Los Angeles-based DP. I'm here at HD Camera Rentals prepping a new AF100 I got from Able Cine just a few days ago. And a big question I had when I went to EVS's camera demo of the AF100 last week was, what are we going to do about a viewfinder? A big issue I have with the AF100 is the fact that it does not have that focus expansion that we're so used to using on the Red, HPX170 or HPX200. And so making sure that your focus is spot on, I'm always kind of nervous as to whether it is or is not in focus, and we don't always have a first and second AC to run a tape measure out. The only way that I can verify whether something's in focus is to look at it through a high quality monitor or viewfinder myself. When Joseph brought his Cineroid unit to EVS last week to demo it, we couldn't get to work. It turns out that there's a camera setting that was turned on that prevented the EVS from working. I'm going to show you what that display is right now. When I output a high def signal, the Cineroid does not have the signal coming through. It turns out that this is the culprit, SDI24PSF. Whatever that stands for, I don't know, but Barry Green says we shouldn't really need to use it unless we're experts anyway. I'm not going to claim I'm an expert, so I'm going to turn that off. And then, give it a second, bam, we have picture. So it looks like that mystery has been solved, and I'm going to let Joseph go on a little bit about the other features that the EVF has.
Hi, my name is Joseph Jang. I'm with Cineroid, and I'm here to show you our Cineroid EVF-4L, which has the HDMI loop-through version. So I'm going to open this up, and we'll go through a couple of the menu functions. The menu button is right here on the side, and you've got the up and down arrows to select within the menu. Press menu, and we've got all of the different functions. And we'll scroll down one by one. The input select, obviously, from HDMI or composite. The color adjust, you can actually go into the screen on the LCD screen here and really hone down how you want to see the image, so RGB controls. And the great thing about this is if you go in here, and I don't know if you can tell because we don't have a lot of color, but as you adjust, you can see in the preview window what you're doing, which is pretty neat, because otherwise you'd have to go out of the menu and to see your adjustments. Screen adjust, brightness, contrast, and sharpen. The volume, you can control, there's individual controls for the headphone jack or the external speaker. And again, this is only for playback, it's not for monitoring audio when you're recording. Controls for peaking, there's the red or the sharpness, so you can go ahead and control the thresholds. Saturation or the zebras, you can go from low, mid to high, so you really go in there and control your saturation levels. The underscan, turn on or off, and basically the underscan is if the image is full to the screen and you feel like there's some oscillation at the ends, the corners, you can actually turn that underscan on and it'll shrink it a little bit so you can see the full image. 4:3 guide bar, self-explanatory. Pixel to pixel, and we'll show you that function in a second, but you can turn off and on here. Monochrome, again, self-explanatory. Screen flip, so if you want to flip the screen and you want to adjust this upside down and mount it upside down, which a lot of shooters prefer, you can actually go ahead and do that and rotate it upside down, mirror to mirror, sideways, so you have the correct image. Status display, this is a little neat function. We had some people confused as to whether the display from the EVF was from the EVF or from the camera. So you can go in here and decide what you want to see on the screen, and you can actually even choose the color of the font, so you can really differentiate between the EVF and from your camera. The custom setup, this is really critical here to really go in here and see what you like. The default, so on the right side you have peaking, F1 and F2, which are the custom buttons, and the saturation. The F1 and F2 you can set to whatever buttons you like, so you can program that.
The biggest point to me is the fact that you're able to pop in to do the focus assist. It does in fact work a lot better than either the onboard LCD or the onboard EVF.
And the great thing about this will work even while recording. On the Canon 5D, because the output from the HDMI on the camera is a 480, it won't work, or just a little bit. But on the 70, the 1D Mark IV, and the AF100 here, it works just great. The peaking button is, there you go. And you can see how this works. Focus out. In. You can do that with your peaking to really get in there. And the saturation. Saturation, the way this works is anything with the zebras is overexposed. This way is underexposed, and if you have nothing, it's perfectly exposed.
the Cineroid EVF has one mounting point. The one mounting point is probably best suited to be positioned right about there. My personal preference, if I ever want to go handheld, would be to position the EVF right about here so that the camera could be positioned on my shoulder much like an ENG type beta cam. If you're able to get this nice and low, you can still get away with doing something like this. If you can get some kind of gunslinger mount from Zacuto and get it to right about here, it's right at about the correct height. My personal preference would be to get it to right about here for something on my shoulder and get the eyepiece right here, but you most likely want it dropped down to right about there, which currently is a little inconvenient based on the positioning of the single mounting point, and you'll need a longer Noga arm. Hopefully in a future version we'll have a version of the Cineroid EVF with a mounting point on the top so that then we could take a Noga arm and position it right about there.